The sky turned unnatural shades of gray and silver as the first alien vessels breached Earth's orbit. Gigantic ships, hundreds of meters long, with surfaces like liquid metal, hovered over the planet's major cities, blotting out the sun and casting sprawling, shifting shadows across continents. People in New York, Tokyo, and Paris looked up, mouths agape, as entire blocks of buildings fell into eerie twilight. The ships emitted a low, throbbing hum that rattled windows, made car alarms scream, and sent birds tumbling from the sky. It was a sound that seemed alive, like a warning or a heartbeat from something vast and incomprehensible. Then the broadcast came. Not a roar, not a threat, but a voice that resonated inside the minds of every human capable of hearing it. Just one world. Surrender peacefully or perish. There was no room for negotiation, no pretense of diplomacy. One world. That was it. The message repeated itself, precise and cold, as if every syllable had been calculated to crush hope. Panic spread instantly. Governments scrambled fighter jets and satellites, but nothing in their arsenals seemed capable of matching the alien ship's sheer scale or the energy pulses radiating from them. Cities emptied in a matter of hours as millions fled toward rural areas. Roads became rivers of cars, horns blaring in chaotic harmony, headlights piercing the dim alien shadows. Social media exploded with frantic messages, desperate prayers, and viral footage of the floating giants. Humanity was, for the first time in history, united in terror. But amidst the chaos, something flickered. A small team of scientists and military advisors huddled in the underground complex beneath Geneva, staring at monitors that displayed every detail the satellites could capture. They noticed patterns, small, almost imperceptible gaps in the alien formation, slight delays in the energy pulses that rippled across the ships. Perhaps, they thought, the aliens were not perfect. Perhaps they had underestimated humanity. From the city streets to the highest mountain peaks, humans observed with a mix of awe and fear. In deserts and abandoned airfields, engineers worked feverishly, rigging drones, recalibrating old satellites, and tapping into frequencies that no one knew humans could reach. Every movement was tense, precise. Every misstep could be the last. Yet, within the pulse of fear, a spark of defiance ignited. Humanity had faced war before. They had survived catastrophe, and they had never been the species to surrender quietly. Above them, the ships waited. Shadows drifted over forests, rivers, and seas. Night came early, swallowed in the presence of the alien vessels. And then, as if sensing the first flickers of defiance below, the hum intensified, vibrating through the earth itself, reverberating in every chest and skull. The message played once more, cold, mechanical, and simple. Just one world. Humanity did not answer, yet. But the hum, the shadows, and the alien arrogance planted a seed. Somewhere deep within bunkers, labs, and command centers, humans were already beginning to imagine a way to fight back. To show that this planet, this species, could not be taken lightly. That the one world they demanded would not be given without a price. The sky above the cities remained dark, silent, and suffocating. But below, eyes burned with determination. Fear had come to visit, but humanity was not asleep. It was only the beginning. Humanity watched, and humanity learned. From the ruined rooftops of cities, through underground labs, and across deserts where abandoned satellites hummed faintly, the pulse of alien power was measured, recorded, and analyzed. Every ship glimmered with a strange, liquid metal sheen that reflected sunlight like a prism of fire. Energy arcs ran across their hulls, pulsating rhythmically, almost like veins feeding some living machine. The alien presence was awe-inspiring and terrifying, but it was not infallible. In a hidden command bunker under the Swiss Alps, a group of scientists and military strategists pored over satellite feeds and telescope data, their faces lit by the eerie glow of holographic displays. Every movement of the alien vessels was catalogued, patterns emerged, slight delays in energy pulses, rotational maneuvers that seemed unnecessary, small flashes that indicated exposed nodes. They weren't invincible. Far from it. "Look at this," muttered Dr. Anika Rao, her finger tracing a thin, glowing line on the holographic map. Every pulse is offset by, what, 10 milliseconds? They're synchronized but not perfect. Someone underestimated precision timing. The team exchanged looks, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. For the first time since the ships appeared, hope flickered. Beyond the bunkers, humanity began to move quietly. Engineers in rural airfields modified old drones, equipping them with electromagnetic pulses scavenged from experimental weapon prototypes. Amateur radio operators hacked together frequencies to disrupt alien sensors. Nations that had once competed fiercely now shared intelligence openly, a web of cooperation spreading like wildfire across the globe. Even ordinary people, fishermen, farmers, and mechanics, found themselves contributing, improvising, innovating. Every small act of ingenuity became a thread in a larger tapestry of resistance. Above it all, the aliens observed silently, perhaps amused, perhaps indifferent. They broadcast their message again, cold, precise, and unyielding. Just one world. The words cut through the darkness of Earth's cities, but this time, no one trembled at them. Instead, they steeled their hands, their minds, and their hearts. In the deserts of Nevada, a small drone swarmed through the night, silent and almost invisible against the black sand. Its sensors tracked the energy pulses of a hovering alien scout. As it approached, the drone's onboard systems synchronized with the pulse delays identified by the scientists. It was a fragile gambit, a tiny machine, running on human ingenuity, but it represented something far greater than itself. Even the ordinary streets below were alive with tension. Families huddled in basements, watching the glowing silhouettes of ships through small windows. The hum vibrated through the concrete floors. Yet there was something new in their eyes, not just fear, but anticipation. Humanity had begun to calculate, to plan, to imagine a response. Every species has a weakness, Captain Elias Vargas whispered over a radio, his voice barely audible over the hum of the alien presence. We just have to find theirs before it's too late. The first night passed in tense silence. No shots were fired, no explosions marred the horizon, but beneath the quiet, a storm was building. Humanity was watching, calculating, and adapting. Every second of observation, every calculation of timing and pattern was a silent act of rebellion. As dawn approached, the first streaks of light painted the alien vessels in hues of red and gold. The ships gleamed, still massive, still menacing. But now, humanity's gaze was fixed and unflinching. They were no longer merely witnesses to their own potential annihilation. They were strategists, engineers, and soldiers in waiting. The desert was silent, too silent. A silver wind swept across the dunes, carrying the whisper of shifting sand and the faint hum of alien machinery. Somewhere on the horizon, a scout ship hovered, its sleek, liquid metal hull reflecting the moonlight like a shard of some cold, distant star. It moved with deliberate grace, scanning, analyzing, as though it could see the smallest flicker of human life beneath the dunes. Inside a hidden command bunker, a team of engineers held their breath. Every screen displayed the scouts' movements in real time. The drone they had sent out earlier, a small, inconspicuous craft retrofitted with electromagnetic pulse emitters, approached the alien scout, guided by calculations from hundreds of hours of observation. It was fragile, almost laughably so compared to the massive alien vessel above, but the humans believed in precision, improvisation, and timing. "This is it," whispered Lieutenant Mara Chen, her eyes glued to the monitor. All systems green, EMP synchronized to pulse delay, target in range. Outside, the desert wind kicked up sand, hiding the drone as it surged forward. The alien scout's sensors pulsed faint blue light, scanning the area. It paused, tilting slightly, as if sensing the tiny intruder approaching. The humans waited in tense silence, every second stretching into an eternity. Then, the drone unleashed its pulse. A silent electric storm rippled through the air, arcs of blue-white energy dancing across the alien hull. Sparks erupted, crackling like miniature lightning bolts, and for a heartbeat, the scout shivered. Its sleek metal surface flickered, then ignited in a burst of incandescent light. The ship collapsed onto the sand in a shower of molten sparks, rolling once before lying still. The team exhaled, some trembling, some laughing softly, some staring in disbelief. They had done it. Humanity had struck the first blow. Not with brute force, not with overwhelming firepower, but with intelligence, timing, and courage. Far above, the massive motherships hovering over Earth didn't react immediately. Perhaps they were observing, perhaps they were recalculating, but the message they had broadcasted just hours ago, just one world, felt different now. Humans were not trembling. Humans were responding. Down in the desert, Lieutenant Chen and her team retrieved the remains of the drone, sparks still flickering from the ground where the scout had fallen. The night air was thick with the smell of burnt metal, the silence heavy with tension. The first act of defiance had been small, but it was seismic. Humanity had proven something vital. Even the smallest species, when united by intelligence and courage, could pierce the armor of the universe's giants. In cities across the world, news of the strike spread. People watched glowing feeds of the desert explosion, their hearts pounding in unison. Fear was still there, everywhere, but now it was tempered by awe. Humans were capable of more than survival. They could resist. They could fight back. Captain Elias Vargas broadcast a simple message to his team and allies worldwide. This is not the end. It is the beginning. We have shown them that we are not defenseless. One act can ignite 100 more. Above, the hum of the alien fleet intensified, vibrating through the earth like a deep, living drumbeat. Shadows of massive vessels shifted across continents, but beneath them, humanity's resolve burned brighter than ever. The first defiance had been small, almost imperceptible in the vast theater of the galaxy, but it was enough to make the giants pause. And for the first time, humans felt it. A strange, thrilling possibility. That perhaps fear was not absolute, and that courage, even fragile, tentative courage, could carve a path through the darkness. The sky erupted. It wasn't a roar, not yet, but a surge of light and energy that ripped across the horizon like a second sun. Humanity had dared to strike, and the alien fleet responded. From the edges of orbit, massive motherships unleashed beams of concentrated energy, carving streaks of molten fire through empty deserts, forests, and oceans. The hum had transformed into a deep guttural pulse that shook the earth to its core. Cities shivered, bridges groaned, and underground bunkers rattled like fragile shells in a storm. On the ground, Lieutenant Mara Chen and her team barely had time to react. The desert trembled under invisible waves of force. The sand lifted like a living tide, hissing and swirling around them as the sky flared in brilliant violet arcs. The alien retaliation wasn't just a warning. It was precision, intelligence, and power combined. Humanity had not merely provoked them. It had announced itself as a threat. "They've adapted," shouted Captain Elias Vargas over the radio. His voice trembled, half from adrenaline, half from awe. "They know what we're doing now." Across the globe, humans scrambled. Drones and satellites that had been their eyes and scouts became fragile, fleeting shadows as alien energy beams swept the skies. Forests erupted into flames, rivers boiled under precise strikes, and entire mountain ranges seemed to quiver under invisible weight. The aliens were not just fighting, they were studying, calculating, and reshaping the battlefield in real time. But humanity refused to collapse. In a hidden lab beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Anika Rao recalibrated drone swarms, programming them to exploit the faint temporal delays in the alien pulse patterns. In Japan, engineers repurposed experimental railguns, aiming them toward the sky. Across Africa, small teams set traps, using electromagnetic grids to disrupt minor scout ships. Every strike the aliens made only sharpened human ingenuity, forcing them to adapt faster, think sharper, and act with daring precision. In the Nevada desert, Mara Chen's team watched the sky flare again, this time directly above the site of their earlier victory. Sparks rained from above as a massive alien scout, far larger than the last, descended. Its hull shimmered with a deep blue hue, almost organic, almost sentient. It rotated, scanning, seeking the weakness that humans had exploited before. "Steady. Wait for the delay," Chen whispered, her fingers gripping the control panel. The desert night was pierced by silent anticipation. Then, with a precision born of desperation, the drone swarm surged forward. Lightning arcs of EMP energy danced across the scout's hull, momentarily destabilizing it. But this time, the alien adapted mid-strike, twisting, dodging, and retaliating with microbeams that shredded the sand around them. It was chaos and strategy, destruction and ingenuity intertwined. Humans were learning, yes, but the aliens were teaching lessons in fear and power with every response. The first defiance had been celebrated, now the cost was evident. Yet amidst the destruction, a stubborn light burned. Families huddled in bunkers watched the night sky, eyes wide, not just with terror, but with determination. Soldiers in command centers gritted their teeth, recalibrating, repositioning, and preparing for the next wave. Humanity's fight was no longer naive. It was measured, deliberate, and unrelenting. Above it all, the alien fleet paused for the first time, not in surrender, but in calculation. Shadows of immense vessels lingered, unmoving, as though sensing the pattern forming beneath them. Humanity's spark had become a flame, and the universe had taken notice. The night sky over the Pacific shimmered with a strange, electric tension. Humanity had survived the first strike, endured the alien retaliation, and learned how to move in the shadows of impossibility. But now, the real plan was unfolding. A weapon so unconventional, so human, that even the aliens might not see it coming. In a clandestine facility carved into the cliffs of New Zealand, engineers and scientists worked under fluorescent lights that flickered with nervous energy. Every surface was cluttered with strange devices, drones equipped with adaptive EMP modules, railguns retrofitted for orbital strikes, and quantum sensors that could detect alien energy pulses before they even fired. At the center, a massive cylindrical device hummed faintly. A weapon not of sheer destruction, but of disruption, capable of turning alien calculations against them. "Everything has to sync perfectly," Dr. Anika Rao said, her voice tense. "One miscalculation, one mistimed pulse, and the device could fry our own systems, or worse, alert them before we're ready." Lieutenant Mara Chen stared at the holoscreen, her eyes reflecting the soft blue glow. "And if it works?" she asked, almost whispering. "It'll make them hesitate," Rao replied. "Even giants have weak spots, and we've found theirs: arrogance, predictability, and the assumption that we are weak." Outside, the alien fleet drifted above the Pacific like dark constellations, massive vessels casting shadows that swallowed entire islands. Their hum pulsed across the waves, a reminder that this was not just survival, it was war. Scout ships patrolled the skies, laser-like beams cutting through clouds, scanning for movement. And yet, for all their power, the aliens had not adapted to one thing: human unpredictability. The first drone launched silently into the night, its trajectory invisible against the moonlit waves. Following it, dozens more streaked toward the alien scouts, carrying tiny bursts of calculated chaos. Each strike disrupted sensors, created false readings, and scattered energy pulses. The aliens flinched, a ripple of confusion spreading through the fleet. Then, the hidden weapon activated. A low hum grew into a resonant roar, the cylinder at the facility's core emitting waves of controlled electromagnetic energy. The pulses synchronized with human calculations of alien timings, sending ripples through the mothership's energy networks. Screens flickered, shields wavered, and for the first time, a massive vessel above the Pacific tilted ever so slightly. Uncertain, imperfect. From the command bunkers, humans watched in tense silence as the alien fleet struggled to regain control. Sensors overloaded, drones flickered in and out of existence, and communication signals faltered. The motherships, symbols of unstoppable power, were now reactive, defensive, vulnerable. Mara Chen felt her hands shake as she observed the chaos unfold. "We've done it. We've actually done it," she whispered. Around her, the team exhaled, a mix of relief and disbelief, knowing the battle was far from over. But this moment, this first true advantage, was monumental. Across the globe, humans realized something profound. The universe's most powerful beings could be challenged, outmaneuvered, and outsmarted. Not through sheer numbers, not through overwhelming force, but through intellect, strategy, and courage. A species underestimated for millennia had found a way to turn its perceived weakness into strength. The aliens did not retreat. Nor did they attack immediately. They lingered. Massive shadows paused in orbit, recalculating the unexpected variables humans had introduced. And for the first time, humanity sensed it. The giants could be unbalanced, and the smallest spark could ignite their undoing. The first rays of dawn barely touched the horizon when humanity struck again. The oceans roared as wave after wave of human ingenuity surged against the alien fleet. Ships, drones, and railguns coordinated in a ballet of precision destruction, each movement a calculated strike, each pulse designed to exploit the weakness revealed by the hidden weapon. From orbit, the alien motherships shimmered under stress. Shields flickered, energy conduits overloaded, and the first real signs of panic rippled through the colossal ranks. The humans had done the impossible. They had shifted from defense to offense. Lieutenant Mara Chen directed a swarm of drones over the Pacific, each unit programmed to anticipate and counter alien movements. The drones moved like a single organism, weaving through beams of alien fire, dodging deadly pulses, and striking in perfect unison. Each strike forced the aliens to adapt, but every adaptation only revealed more cracks in their armor. "They're faltering," Chen breathed, barely believing her words. "Keep the pressure up." Captain Elias Vargas, observing from a command center in the Andes, gave the order that would define humanity's audacity. "Initiate Project Sentinel," he said. From hidden orbital platforms, long-range human railguns began to fire, piercing the alien shields with pinpoint accuracy. Each shot caused explosions that reflected across the upper atmosphere like falling stars, their shockwaves rattling the alien fleet. The alien response was swift and brutal. Scout ships dived, lasers cutting paths through the skies, energy beams lanced downward, and the earth trembled under the fury of the attackers. Cities trembled, forests burned, and rivers boiled under the onslaught. But humanity had learned, adapted, and anticipated. Evacuations, shields, and countermeasures minimized loss, turning the alien wrath into a controlled theater where human strategy reigned supreme. Amid the chaos, Mara Chen spotted something remarkable. One of the largest motherships had begun to drift uncontrollably, its systems destabilized by the synchronized disruption pulses. It tilted, faltered, and finally collided with another vessel, a titanic explosion lighting the sky in brilliant violet and gold. Humanity had forced the first real fracture in the alien hierarchy. Dr. Anika Rao, monitoring the cascade of failures, couldn't contain her exhilaration. "It's working. They can't compensate fast enough. Every strike compounds their errors." Across the globe, humans watched transmissions of the destruction. Awe replaced fear. Courage replaced despair. The species that had once cowered under the shadow of galactic titans now rose with fire in their eyes. Every strike, every calculated move reinforced a simple truth. Humanity was not prey. It was predator in its own right. And yet, the aliens were not defeated. Their adaptation was relentless, their strategy brutal, and their presence suffocating. Each victory was a spark, each success a challenge, but the fight was far from over. The humans had turned the tide, yes, but only enough to prove that the invincible could bleed, that even giants could be pressured into uncertainty. The night fell again, but this time it was quieter. The alien fleet lingered, massive shadows retreating to reassess. Humanity had proven it could stand toe-to-toe with the titans of the galaxy, not with overwhelming firepower, but with intellect, coordination, and courage. Mara Chen looked at the horizon, the first faint stars reflecting in her eyes. "We've shown them we can fight," she whispered. "Tomorrow, we show them we can win." The night sky was alive with fire, not the natural glow of stars, but the unnatural shimmer of alien energy and human retaliation. The battle had reached a fever pitch. Humanity's forces, now coordinated and relentless, had forced the alien fleet into a precarious position. But victory required more than defense and disruption. It demanded a gamble so bold it could either end the war or annihilate everything humanity had fought to protect. In a hidden command bunker beneath the Carpathian Mountains, Mara Chen stood over a hollow map of the Pacific Theater. Lines of energy indicated the alien fleet's positions. Red zones marked unstable vessels and failing shields. She traced a finger along the largest motherships. "This is it," she said, voice barely audible over the hum of the bunker. "If we strike here, it could all collapse." Dr. Anika Rao's eyes flickered with nervous excitement. We're talking about a direct assault on their command node. One misstep, and we trigger a chain reaction that could obliterate half our own fleet. Elias Vargas's face was grim. Then we make it precise. Every drone, every railgun, every synchronized strike must hit the target exactly as calculated. There's no margin for error. This is humanity's final gambit. Above the ocean, massive clouds churned under the influence of alien energy fields. Scout ships zipped like silver bullets, while motherships hovered, colossal shadows threatening to crush everything beneath them. And yet, the humans advanced, their strike coordinated with meticulous timing. The first volley erupted. Railgun slugs tore through alien shields, explosions rippling across the fleet. Drone swarms infiltrated the mothership's perimeters, emitting pulses that scrambled systems from within. Alien vessels flinched, shields wavered, and chaos spread like wildfire. Then the command node, an enormous ship at the fleet's center, became the focus. Mara Chen's fingers flew over the controls, guiding a specialized drone directly into its energy core. The drone released a concentrated EMP burst, amplified by the hidden weapon's resonance. The mothership shuddered violently, blue energy arcs crackling across its hull. The aliens retaliated. Beams of energy lanced outward, obliterating waves of drones in a dazzling display of destruction. Human ships maneuvered desperately, some falling, others dodging by mere meters. The ocean boiled below, tidal waves rippling as energy from the battles above collided with Earth itself. Yet, even in the chaos, humanity persisted. The drone breached the ship's core, planting the disruption device. Lights flickered, systems failed, and the mothership convulsed like a wounded titan. One by one, other ships faltered as the central command faltered. Calculations failed, shields collapsed, and the alien fleet became a disorganized swarm. Mara Chen's heart raced. It's happening. It's actually happening. Explosions erupted as motherships collided, their own panic-fueled maneuvers causing a cascading disaster. Energy arcs tore through the sky, illuminating the night in brilliant flashes. Humanity watched from bunkers and observation decks, awestruck at the spectacle of the mighty brought low. And then, silence. The fleet fragmented, drifting, crippled, and leaderless. Humanity's gamble had paid off. The once invincible aliens now faced a species they had underestimated, a species willing to risk everything to survive, adapt, and fight. Mara Chen exhaled, exhaustion and exhilaration mingling. Around her, the team erupted into muted cheers, knowing that the war was not yet fully over, but that the first decisive victory had been won. Humanity had seized its place in the galaxy, not through fear, but through courage, ingenuity, and an unyielding will to survive. The battlefield was eerily quiet. The alien fleet, once a suffocating presence in Earth's skies, now lay in fragments, drifting like shattered constellations across the Pacific horizon. Fires burned across the water, smoke curling into the heavens, but for the first time in decades, humanity could breathe without fear. Lieutenant Mara Chen stood on the deck of the flagship Valiant, her eyes scanning the horizon where remnants of alien vessels glimmered like distant stars. Every human on board felt the weight of what had just occurred, a victory born not of overwhelming numbers, but of intellect, strategy, and unrelenting courage. Dr. Anika Rao approached, her expression a mix of awe and exhaustion. "We've done more than survive," she said. "We've proven that a species underestimated can not only fight, but dominate. They'll never forget Earth again." Mara nodded. "They came to test us. They asked, just one. Humanity answered with firepower, and more than they ever expected." Her gaze lingered on the scattered wreckage of alien craft. But firepower alone didn't win this. It was our ingenuity, our unpredictability, our refusal to surrender. In orbit, satellites transmitted images of cities spared from destruction, of forests untouched, and oceans scarred but resilient. Humanity had fought with precision, exploiting weaknesses, leveraging strategy over brute force, and in doing so had carved its mark into the galaxy. Across the globe, humans emerged from shelters and command bunkers, looking up at the skies once filled with terror. Children, too young to remember fear, gazed at the drifting wreckage, imagining stories of courage and defiance. Soldiers, engineers, scientists, and civilians alike shared the quiet, unspoken understanding. Humanity had risen, unbowed. Yet the cost was not forgotten. Human vessels had fallen, brave pilots lost in the fiery chaos, and cities bore the scars of a war that could have destroyed them. Each flame and each shadow reminded humanity that victory was hard won, a balance between audacity and sacrifice. As night fell, the remaining alien vessels retreated, their lights fading into the void. Humanity had survived, adapted, and triumphed, but the galaxy had witnessed something new. Earth was no longer a world to be tested. Earth was a force. Mara Chen looked at the stars, now clearer than ever. "We've earned our place among them," she whispered, "not as prey, not as a weak species to be overlooked, but as equals, and anyone who forgets that will learn the hard way." Dr. Rao smiled faintly. "The giants have fallen, or at least learned their lesson, and we've learned ours. That intelligence, courage, and unity can challenge even the mightiest. That sometimes the smallest spark can ignite the greatest fire." Humanity began rebuilding immediately. Ships repaired, drones recalibrated, and cities restored. But the real victory was intangible. The confidence, the knowledge that the universe could no longer look at Earth and see weakness. The galaxy had asked, "Just one?" And humanity had answered, not with hesitation, but with brilliance and unrelenting force. And in the quiet aftermath, under a sky filled with drifting wreckage and distant stars, humanity understood something profound. Survival was not enough. To be respected, to endure, and to thrive, a species must embrace its ingenuity, courage, and unity, because in the vast, indifferent universe, only those willing to rise beyond expectation could truly leave a mark.